For the next few minutes, we are going to see how to integrate the styling on our website. So what we need to do, we need to navigate back to our Visual Studio Code. We need to create a new folder called static, where we are going to be storing our static files. Then under settings.py, we need to add some codes that will instruct our application where to be checking for the static files, and also where to be storing media files that we upload. If we are to upload media files on our project, say you have created a web application whereby users are to upload some images, or you as the admin will also be uploading some images, you need to instruct the project and the application on where to be storing those files and where to be checking for those, or rather for such files. So in this section where we have the static URL, let us replace that with those few lines of code, then save. Then what we also need to do, we also need to ensure that we move the styling, because when we copied the template, we see that our styling are in this folder called assets. So what we need to do is that we need to copy, or rather to cut, then we paste them on this folder called static. Once we do that, we come back to our Visual Studio Code. We need to do some editing so that our website works as we intended it to work. Basically, at this stage we are still not able to load the styling. So back to our code editor, we need to load the static files. Load static. So basically there is that code snippet. We need to load the static files. Then we proceed and edit so that our application makes use of this static snippet that we added. So let us do it this way. So identify those lines of code that are fetching the static files locally. So for instance, we have this. Let us replace it with static. Then we do it that way. So just check that we added something, then we retained what we had initially. So in my case, what I do, I just select what we have, I cut it, then static, I select that option, then paste. So do that to all other lines of code that are fetching the static files locally. We just did that for the CSS. Let us check if we have some JavaScript. Sure we do. Let us do that as well. To avoid some conflict, if this inner section is to use the single quotation, ensure that the outer section uses the double quotation. There is no big issue, but usually you may realize that Visual Studio will give a different color when you use a single quotation in both sections. Once done, save that file. Then let's go back to our website. Let us reload, and we see that some styles have been applied. So what remains are the images. Images are also static files, so we need to do some adjustments so that we are able to see the images for our website. So let's go back to our project, and wherever we have an image, let us search for image tags. So we have this image, so let's do the same. We cut static, we have that, then we paste. So for the Visual Studio Code, we can use a method which helps us replace these in a few clicks. So for instance, we have image as the common element. Then we have say we have that. Let us search for that. So when we search for that, we are able to see some options. So we want to replace that with let us use this for illustration. We want to replace that with image. With this line up to this point. So let's see, replace that, then let's use replace all. All right, then let's come back here. Having replaced that, we have .jpg and the crossing. Let us replace that section, and let us check one that we have already done manually. Select, then replace that. Basically that probably replaced even those that we had already edited, but we are going to check that. In case that doesn't work for you, you can edit it one by one. So if we reload, we discover that we are able to view our images. The slider is not yet working, but we will also be working on that